Hello investors, welcome to Simply Stocks. In the last 3 videos of our Q1 FY26 result series, we have studied 12 small cap companies so far that have delivered very strong results in the June quarter. Many people have asked us why we are not covering large cap businesses. So look, I have no issues with large companies, but large cap businesses usually have fewer opportunities because their base becomes so large in size that they are simply not able to grow their sales and profits at a fast pace. But still, today we have brought 4 large cap businesses for you that have delivered very strong results even at such a large base. These companies are showing impressive growth. So today we will study these businesses, we will look at their results, and we will also try to figure out what their future looks like. But please keep in mind, this video is in no way a buy or sell recommendation. With that being said, let's begin. The first large cap business that has announced very strong results is the wire and cable company Polycab India. In the months of April, May and June, that is in the June quarter or Q1, their sales have grown by 26% compared to the last year, and you will see that their EBITDA has grown 47% and net profit by 49%, which is excellent growth. Their quarterly profit has increased to 600 CR. Their EBITDA margin this quarter stood at 14.7%, but the management has given guidance of 11 to 13% going forward. The majority of their sales, 87%, come from wires and cables, and the remaining 13% come from their EPC services business and FMCG segment, where they manufacture switches, fans, lights, etc. If we talk only about their wires and cable segment, which is the main segment, the growth there has been quite strong. Sales growth has been 31%, out of which 25% is volume growth, and the remaining 31 minus 25, 6% is due to increase of prices of their products. Apart from this, 5.2% of total sales come from exports. Out of that 5%, only one third of sales of Polycab come from the USA, meaning only 1.5 to 2% of Polycab's total sales come from the US. So Trump's tariffs won't have any significant impact on their business. Let's understand their wires and cable segment in more depth now. So 74% of their sales come from cables and 26% come from wires. Wires are used in houses, buildings, etc., and your cables are used everywhere in power transmission, railways, etc. They are seeing strong demand from infrastructure, data center, and real estate sectors. So we have a large cap business in front of us that is a market leader in its sector and whose core business is growing at a rate of over 25%, and to be precise, 31%. These results are especially impressive for Polycab because the management had guided for lower growth than this. Polycab had stated that it is targeting sales growth of 16 to 18%, and to achieve this, they are planning to invest 6,000 to 8,000 crore rupees by 2030 to expand their manufacturing capacity, which implies an annual capex of 12 to 1600 crore rupees range. So you can see that while they had guided for 16 to 18% growth, the actual sales growth this quarter is 26%, which is a very, very strong growth for a market leader with such a large base. But despite such good results, the market sentiment around Polycab is currently negative. If you remember, the Aditya Birla Group had announced its entry into the cables business through Ultratech Cement. The market believes that Ultratech's entry will hurt existing players like Polycab and KEI, similar to what we saw happen in the paint sector. And that is why you will notice that earlier the market was giving Polycab a PE of 63, but now it has corrected to a PE of 45. But I believe the market is wrong on both main points here. Firstly, regarding Asian Paints or paint sector as a whole, the situation is poor right now because the demand is weak. You can put just 10 to 20% blame on Birla Opus or competition. I was going through con calls of paint companies, and all of them are saying the same thing, that demand in the sector is extremely weak. People are not spending on paints at all. Competition is secondary. At least demand should be strong, right? And secondly, even if Ultratech does bring in capacity, there will be still a demand supply gap in the sector. Due to green energy, data center, and infrastructure growth, there is high demand for wires and cables, but supply is lacking. That's why Polycab is investing such heavily into expanding their manufacturing capacity, and its management is saying that even with more capacity which is entering the sector, the demand supply gap will remain there. This point will work in favor of wire and cable companies going forward. So in my view, comparing Polycab to Asian Paints and comparing wire and cable sector to paint sector doesn't make any sense. but the market is making that comparison. So on the brighter side, an opportunity has been created. You are getting a large cap business with a market cap of 1 lakh crore rupees available at a PE of 45, and it is growing its sales at a rate of more than 25%. The next large cap business we will study is Waaree Energies. Waaree is in the business of manufacturing solar cells and solar modules. A module is also called a solar panel, and it is made by putting your multiple solar cells together. Waaree has a capacity to manufacture 15 gigawatt of modules and 5.4 gigawatt of solar cells, which was recently commissioned. Out of this 15 gigawatt module capacity, 1.6 gigawatt is located in the USA. And since Trump has imposed tariffs on India now, this US plant will be benefiting Waaree. And I want you to remember these numbers as I will explain their importance to you shortly. Apart from this, Waaree also has a listed subsidiary by the name of Waaree Renewable Technologies, which provides EPC services, meaning it installs solar power systems for other companies. This business also comes under Waaree. However, 80 to 90% of Waaree Energy's sales and profits come from solar manufacturing. In addition, Waaree is now also entering some other businesses like solar battery systems, green hydrogen, solar inverters, solar power plants, etc. But these businesses are still small and at least 1 to 2 years away. So for now, we must look at Waaree only as a solar manufacturer. Now, please listen to me very carefully to what I am going to explain next. This solar module, which is often referred to as a solar panel, is made in 5 steps, from polysilicon to ingots, then wafers, and finally solar cells, which you put together to make solar modules. Now, here is the most important thing. Most companies in India import cells from China, assemble them here, and sell them as solar panels. Moreover, China practically has a monopoly in the entire solar manufacturing process. So, from an energy security point of view, the Indian government is giving strong support to solar companies so that India becomes self-reliant or Atmanirbhar in solar manufacturing. And as part of this support, the government has now mandated that only those solar panels will be accepted in government tenders which are made from Indian-made solar cells. So if you want to supply your panels for any government solar scheme like rooftop solar scheme or Kusum scheme for solar irrigation pumps, you can supply only if those panels are made using Indian-made solar cells. As a result, what has happened is there is a huge demand-supply gap in the market. There is very high demand for Indian-made cells, but very few companies are actually manufacturing them. That is why Indian-made solar cells are selling at very high prices. For example, Chinese cells sell for just 3.4 rupees, while Indian cells are selling for around 23 rupees, almost 8 times more. So the companies that have their own solar cell manufacturing capacity are currently earning huge profits. Basically, if I summarize to you, a good solar business is one that has its own solar cell capacity. And just like India is supporting its solar companies, the USA has also banned imports of solar products from China. So currently, even the USA is a good market for Indian solar players. Now, if you remember, I mentioned earlier that Waaree cell plant was commissioned recently. That's why the company has posted very strong results in the June quarter. You will see in Q1, Waaree sales increased by 32% compared to last year, and their EBITDA has grown tremendously. EBITDA rose 83%, reaching 1,170 crore rupees approx this quarter. The management had given a guidance of 5,500 to 6,000 crore in EBITDA for this year. And right now, Waaree is well on track on that guidance. In addition, their profit has grown by 93%, or in other words, it has nearly doubled. Their net profit margin has also increased from 11.5% to 16.8%. So overall, Waaree has delivered very strong results. This business is currently trading at a reasonable valuation of 40 PE. So you can definitely study it independently. And not just Waaree. In fact, all 4 businesses we are studying in this video have very attractive valuations from large caps point of view. And I know I keep saying this again and again, but if you are liking this video, then do give me a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to our channel Simply Stocks, because making such videos takes a lot of time and effort. So your likes and subscribes are our only motivation so that we keep putting this hard work for you. So do like this video and subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get back to our businesses. The third business with strong results is a Tata Group company. Its name is Indian Hotels, or IHCL, and you probably already know about it. It is in the hotel business. Under brands like Taj, Vivanta and Ginger, it operates hotels across all ranges from economy to premium. Currently, they have more than 27,000 rooms across 249 hotels. Apart from this, they are in the process of opening 143 new properties or new hotels, through which they will be adding another 20,200 rooms. Just like Polycab, in IHCL too, there is this demand supply gap factor working in their favor. In this screenshot, you will see in your major metro cities, the supply of hotels is expected to increase at just 5% annual rate over the next 5 years. But the demand is much higher than that. Now, we all understand basic economics. When the supply is low and demand is high, prices go up, right? So what will happen in the hotel sector is that room rates will increase over the next 5 years. In fact, IHCL has already raised its per night room rent by 11% in this quarter compared to the last year. Now, let us look at the results, and we won't look at their consolidated or total sales because they have an air catering business called Taj Sats, which serves meals on airplanes. It used to be a joint venture before, but now it has been consolidated into IHCL. Because of this, consolidated sales growth appears higher. You don't need to overthink on this. It is just that company's structure has changed, not the actual business. So if you look here in their hotel segment, it is showing 14% sales growth. Now, you can say that it is not very high growth, but on 22nd April, and no Indian can ever forget this, the Pahalgam attack happened. And then for its justice, the government carried out Operation Sindoor. So there was a lot of tension for 2 to 3 weeks, and many people cancelled their bookings, travel plans, etc. during that time. This affected the tourism and hospitality sector. So in the middle of all this, 14% sales growth is actually quite a strong performance. Otherwise, the numbers would have been higher. That's why we can expect better sales growth in the upcoming quarters. And despite all this, their EBITDA margin for this quarter remained stable at 31.4%, which is also a good point. So overall, higher wedding dates, conferences, and commercial events were the highlights of Q1, and booking cancellations, flight cancellations, and international conflicts were the lowlights which impacted revenues. Their bottom line, that is net profit, will remain under pressure in the short term because the company is rapidly expanding new hotels. That's why the PE ratio may appear higher to you. But hotels are, you see, asset heavy businesses, and they benefit from high operating leverage. You can think of it this way. Suppose you have a hotel and your sales increased by just 15% compared to last year. Or say last year you had 100 rooms booked and this year 115 rooms were booked. What happens then is that your profit growth can be over 20%. It will not be 15%, because suppose your break even was at 100 bookings, meaning all expenses were covered at that point, no loss, no profit. Now every extra booking above that becomes your pure profit. So even if bookings rise just 15%, your profits can rise even more. So even though the June quarter results may not look that strong, but as IHCL's top line grows and as more new hotels open and become profitable, their bottom line will also come into focus. Now, the fourth and final large cap company which has announced very good results is TVS Motor Company. And actually, TVS is my favorite business in the entire auto sector. I'll tell you why. So if you track the auto sector, you would know that in the last 4 or 5 years, there has not been much growth in the sector as well, and in the two-wheeler segment as well. The sector is pretty much stagnant where it used to be 4 or 5 years ago. But despite that, TVS Motor has consistently grown its sales and profits at a good rate. Even though the sector has not grown, TVS has been snatching market share from Hero MotoCorp. TVS manufactures motorcycles, scooters, and auto rickshaws. In motorcycles, Apache, Ronin, Rider, Star City, and Sport are their popular models. Similarly, in scooters, Jupiter, Zest, X, iQube, and in three-wheelers or auto rickshaws, King are their well-known models. Talking about TVS performance, in the June quarter, they sold 12,077,000 vehicles, which is an 18.5% volume growth compared to last year. Their main segments, motorcycles and scooters, both have shown 19 to 21% volume growth. And this same volume growth is getting reflected in their results. You will see in this screenshot, TVS sales have grown 20% from last year to more than 10,000 crore rupees, and operating EBITDA has increased by 32%, and profit before tax has grown by 35%. Though I don't know why they have shared PBT, I checked that even the net profit has grown by 35%. And in the recently concluded July month, their performance has been strong as well. Auto companies release their monthly sales figures, and I have this data for July month for TVS. You will see that their total sales have grown by 29%. In this, the motorcycle business grew by 25% and the scooter segment showed a strong 42% volume growth. This growth is partially due to a low base of last year, but even if you exclude that, these numbers are very good. So TVS is a good large cap business that you can study on your own, but yes, its valuation is slightly on the higher side. So do keep that in mind, but still it is a large cap company, and thanks to its consistent performance over the years, it has built a strong reputation for high PE. Now you tell me in the comments which of these 4 stocks did you like the most. Also, if you did not like the video earlier, gentle reminder, please do like it now, and you can also subscribe to our channel. This will motivate us to work much harder for you. See you in the next video. Happy investing.